Holy cow. Does that not get your blood boiling? What's going on, Nicole?
Hello. I don't know. I think I'm having a little bit of technical issues on the backside, so just bear with me. Oh my gosh, Chris, how are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm wonderful. I'm well fed. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was amazing. Crazy as always here in the Ginsburg house, going through just, family stuff and having all sorts of wonderful memories made as I'm sure you had too. But we had a little bit of family and then a whole lot of chaotic craziness. I went Black Friday shopping for the first time in a long time,
Right?
physically in the stores.
Oh my
That
gosh.
was cool. I know. It's just,
Did
in other words, things have been crazy.
a successful Cyber Monday, hopefully?
Okay, so actually a little bit.
Okay.
Full disclosure, there was a lot of TransWorld work to do, so that was kind of like the main focus. Especially, we had a show tonight, so we want to be able to talk about really cool things. So like, had to get that work done.
It is boggling. Obviously, Robert has our new video, and we're back on the road to TransWorld, and I couldn't believe it when we are looking and we're like 64 days. What? 64 days? How is that possible?
I can't. Yeah, breaking news. We're 64 days away from TransWorld, all being together at the place that we love so much, the beautiful, wonderful St. Louis. We can't wait to experience it in February. That's going to be new for a lot of us, myself included. So we're really, really excited. I can't believe it. I just, Chris, I feel like I haven't seen you in forever, but also I've probably physically seen you in this last month more than I've seen you all year.
I agree with both of those sentiments. Like literally, we have seen each other at least 5 times, maybe.
No.
And
yeah. So the people out there in TV land, if you didn't know, there's a lot of really cool, awesome things happening. That's why not only we haven't had a show, but we've been working so hard on stuff to bring you. And like tonight's show is just like jam packed, and I'm just, Chris, I'm so excited all the way around.
It is crazy. Like, obviously, you have been used to all of this amazing content, and to produce Nicole and a whole lot of amazing people are assisting Jen and Rich and making all of this possible. And you're going to hear all of the breaking releases right here every week, all the way until February, every Tuesday. We're here.
Yeah. We're here. This is the Road to TransWorld. And for those of you who didn't join us last year for this is the place to be on Tuesday nights. This is where Chris and I are going to go in depth. We're going to tell you everything you need to know about the show, every little nook, cranny, no stone unturned, no pumpkin not discussed, no skeleton left in the closet, and all of the Christmas trees are going to be up. Like it just, and we have the keys to everything. Did I get it all? Did I do it all? Yeah.
It's perfect. Everything and anything that you want to know. Now, we're going to keep some surprises maybe till the end. So you got to keep watching every week. There's going to be stuff released all the time, including tonight.
Yes. We started off. We're starting off with a bang. Like literally, guys, this is our road to it. So every little pit stop along the way, we're going to talk about it. We're going to bring the information to you first. This is the place to come and ask questions. David just shared that last year was his first year, completely mind-blowing. So excited for this year. Agreed. Awesome. David, if you liked last year, you're going to love this year. And if you've liked previous years, you're going to love it. And we want to make sure that you have all the information so that you know when to sign up for things, where to be at on certain days, what you should be taking advantage of. We're going to deep dive. And I don't have a snorkeling mask here, but if I did, I'd be showing it.
The mayor was just on the phone with Jen. They are gearing up for all of the toasted ravioli that we could possibly consume. And I mean, it's going to be showtime. We're having so much fun. So
that's awesome.
Sean and David and Andrew, what's up? Welcome back. We missed you guys. We had withdrawals too.
Yeah. All right, Chris.
Before we get down to business, it is technically tonight or today, Giving Tuesday. So that wonderful shopping spirit of Halloween. I'm sorry, Freudian slip. That's just the most wonderful holiday of the year. But the second one might be Thanksgiving. So obviously today is Giving Tuesday, not to make a joke about that. And one of the best nonprofit amazing companies and notions that we can think of to help support.
In person.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Paul Lanner and Hunters Against Hate.
Yes.
Paul and I just had a chance to spend some extended time with Paul, and what an amazing person. I know he's touched so many of you and made a major impact in so many of your lives. So if you do have a couple of dollars to spend, we highly encourage and endorse Hunters Against Hate.
Chris, I couldn't have said it better myself. I was going to go the angle that we kidnapped Paul, took him across state lines, and we found out that the best thing to do was to give to the organization.
I
mean,
like yours way better.
But that's not. No. There was chocolate and hot chocolate involved, ice cream, the whole shebang. It was great. No. So, so my gosh. All right. So speaking of support, speaking of other things, there are a lot of haunts, and Christmas events that are happening all over the country. So make sure you're getting out there, support your local haunt, support your local Christmas attraction. Make sure that, if you're not doing them, that you're out there making spirits bright. Chris, I'm going to warn you, I've been working on the Christmas side of the show with Jen. So I'm a little holly jolly in a lot of ways.
It is such like a magical place of our entire show. Like just all of the twinkling lights. I mean, I love when Rich is on later, we got to ask him if there's any sort of estimate on how many lights are actually on that show floor. It's pretty awesome.
That would be a fun trivia fact for a fun giveaway. Just saying. Like that might be something to find out. I'm sure that Rich is going to make it top of his priority this week to find out.
Rich is pretty busy right now, but we'll find out.
I know. No, and that's the thing is that, and I will say, the entire TransWorld team, normally this time is spent with our families, and yes, there is some prep for the show and stuff, but now that the show is earlier, that is exactly what we are doing, along with balancing all of the other balls in the air and making sure that everything is holly jolly and spirits are bright for our own lives, but also so that we can deliver a lot of that information to you as our present to you. See where I'm going with that, Chris?
Love it. You're just putting the bow right on there. It's beautiful. It's
trying to tie it up. Just so nice. But 64 days, folks. If you haven't heard, only 64 days. Chris, what are some things that we should be doing right now, or folks at home should be doing right now?
The number one thing is get your hotel. Like those book up fast. And most of your favorite hotels that are right near the convention center, I wouldn't be surprised if they're not already sold out or very close to being
very close. So, absolutely.
Again, downtown St. Louis, for those that haven't been there, it's not that crazy big. So, I mean, you just have to walk a little bit extra. But if you want your favorite hotel, or you want your comped breakfast, or you want something fun,
you want the bar that stays open late and
pizza
delivered to the circle, now is the time to book that. And if you're new, if this is the first show you're coming to, definitely take a look at the host hotels. That is the best place to find, where a majority of the attendees are going to be staying. And again, jump on the phone or book it right away. You can always cancel it later if you're still on the fence. But it's definitely something you need to take care of right away.
And you're going to want to bookmark haashow.com. Yes. In it, there's a whole travel section with giveaways. I would love giveaways. Oh my gosh, that would be great. But with
Chris, what are you doing?
Hotels for free. Everybody's getting it.
Giveaways happen here. Fun stuff happens here. Don't take our stuff.
But check the travel section. There are discount codes and promotions that are there just for attendees of our show. So make sure you take advantage of that and save yourself some dollars so you can spend that on the floor.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So, Chris, I think we have breaking news. I think we have a cool guest to bring on.
We have way cool guests.
Really fun things. I don't know. I think I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm beyond ready. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited for this next segment.
They're ready. I hope they're ready, because this is going to be a legendary episode in so many ways. I'm really good at that.
with no short of puns, straight from Atlanta, Georgia, Stone Mountain, I believe, one of the godfathers of our industries, Spaculo himself, Mr. Ben Armstrong. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Okay, yeah. For those that know, late night horror show host many years ago, called Dr. Speculo. So that's what he was trying to or maybe just my email. I don't know.
I
Ben,
love it.
How are you, sir?
I'm great. Things are great. I often feel like this is almost the busiest time of the year in a way because the minute the season ends, there's so much to do. We're wrapping stuff up, taking the monsters in, getting everything cleaned up, and then there's that month's worth of books to do that we've been ignoring. So I tear myself away from my MX statements just to be with you guys tonight. So I'm very excited to be here.
Thank you, Ben. We appreciate that. I don't know if you fall into the same trap I do. I always am like, oh, I'll do it in November. And even for the last decade, that's never been possible. But the middle of November hits and it reminds me instantly that November is as busy, if not busier than October in a lot of ways.
It's not a trap. It's a lifestyle choice. No, and we're open to like middle of November. So it's like, stop. Then you're like, oh, Thanksgiving, IAPA, and like, boom, November's gone. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
Then there's holidays and stuff. And there's, you're buying things and it's Christmas. And then TransWorld, I guess it's a couple days earlier this year.
Yeah, a little bit. If folks at home, if you haven't heard, that is true. That is a true fact. It's a little bit.
And I like the day after we closed, I heard about that we have these seminar things we got to work on. So, that too. You guys are aware of that.
No rest for the wicked.
A lot of progress in the seminars. I don't know. Probably any second now they'll be out. Any second. Frantically right now on the phone with people. How do you spell your middle initial? I don't know. So rapid last details. So
what's your firstborn's blood type? We need it now.
So a lot of fun prep that, as you've noted, has been sped up quite a bit this year.
Yeah,
we got
absolutely
stuff. We got coming up with new stuff, and then we got TransWorld all slammed into one giant mass of stuff. So, and to talk about it, here we are.
Yeah. Now, Ben, I'm gonna ask Ben and Chris this because I was not able to attend due to it being sandwiched between some travel. Tell me about Legendary.
Oh my gosh.
Well, to be 100% honest, I wasn't able to attend either.
Yeah.
I was not, which is say, but true. But I believe, we moved a couple years ago. We're getting the property going. The haunts are doing great. They're fantastic. The Midway's going great. I'm feeling confident that this year I'll be able to attend.
That would be amazing.
The Legendary that we're going to talk about. The secret going to reveal. So I think I'm willing to make this long journey to this unknown location.
And Ben, I think I'm going to be able to meet you there. I think it's going to all work out.
We started so early this year. We should be able to get to that ultimate punctuation mark of the season. Legendary Haunt Tour.
Well,
amazing. So Chris, tell us about it.
Well, and that's Ben.
Like we didn't go.
We missed both of you on there. Rich and I took an amazing group of folks, and we definitely missed you, Ben. You were mentioned many times. Friday night, so for those that aren't aware, we were in Nashville, Tennessee. It was a little chillier than we're normally used to in that type of area, but people were prepared. And we had an amazing evening that started off at Miller's Thrillers, which is a nice outdoor attraction that has like one part outdoor trail. Like I kind of joked with David Miller that it's a little bit like Swiss Family Robinson. Like you're kind of hiking through this tree lines and kind of having some fun. The other side is a pink.
Riding when you were there or something.
Yeah. Say that one more time. Sorry.
Did you get to ride an ostrich when you were there?
I didn't. No. I missed out on that, but we did shoot some zombies, which was always a lot of fun. And then David treated us to a very nice fireworks display, like professional fireworks to set us off. So it was really, really nice. From there.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It was, it set the mood perfectly. Everybody got on the buses and we're ready to go. We headed over to Devil's Dungeon, which is awesome. Like we did this interview with him the Tuesday before, and we were kind of talking about what to expect. And truly, the second and third floors of this location are condos where people live and reside. They're hanging out their back windows. It's a big artist community. And, you know, here's these bunch of knuckleheads with chainsaws running around having a good old time. So it was fantastic. Great show. We had great food from Martin's Barbecue, some pulled pork, some turkey, all kinds of fun stuff. Great first night. On the second night, again, a little bit chillier, but we still had a really great time. Stacy from Slaughterhouse invited us out to her converted movie theater. So like imagine like Applebee's or like anything where you can barely see the walls and everything is covered with horror memorabilia, sign pictures, headshots, promotional photos and posters and just everything. We got the chance to watch Evil Dead in their movie theater, and then they had a fully fledged haunted attraction that was just awesome. And we ended with 13th Floor's Nashville Nightmare. Brad Webb and his entire team just blew our socks off, and it was amazing. Like I think they had like 63 attractions that were open that night for us.
I went to that place and it was like, this place is immense. It is a massive haunted house, and it has great detail, and I was super impressed. And this is a little while ago when I went, so I can only imagine how cool it is now.
All right, but the real question is, did you have hot chicken?
We did. So that was really like, I don't want to say that was the highlight, but food highlight wise, we did end up with some Hattie B's Nashville hot chicken, and It was everything that everyone said it would be. It was great.
Okay.
It was great.
Now a question from the audience. It's very important. Was there lemons?
There was one or two. Yeah, there was a small Chicago contingent, and so it was kept alive for sure.
Good. As long as that trend hasn't gone sour, we're good.
I see what you did there. That was good.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, Ben, I mean, you're a very, very busy man. So I think that we're about that time where it's we have breaking news officially, right? Are you ready to let the cat out of bed?
On the teletypes, that's right.
Yeah.
Breaking news. What do you want to know?
Do you
about the tour? The tour.
Yeah, we want very zesty information.
I was going to tell you where I got to on my Amex statement, but I guess that's. I love all those weird charges in like, around all the convention times. I'm like, no, what did I buy that cost that much? Where you're looking around. Anyway, but yes, let's get to the Legendary Haunt Tour. So we're going to a place people have been requesting that we go to for quite a while. We're going back to a place we've been before. That's right, folks. We're headed back to New England. How exciting is that? So
I'm very excited.
Yes. Now we're working on details. Of course, it's quite early, but we're going to go see Fright Kingdom and Haunted Overload. How about that? And we're also going to Barrett's Haunted Mansion, a classic old attraction, and we're planning to spend an extensive amount of time in Salem, which is filled with all kinds of creepy fun. So it's going to be a tour. I was on that tour years ago. When was that tour? It was a while back.
2014.
Yeah, it's been
really?
It's been a minute. And that was really an amazing tour because there's something about New England that just has the entire vibe of Halloween. I mean, you can feel it, you can see it. And going on that tour, many people talked about it. We still talk about it, about how magical it was. You know, the bonfires and the pumpkins and all the things. But we're going to recapture that. And I know, our visit to Salem, for those people who aren't from that part of the world, that's always really cool to see. There's so many interesting attractions, so much history, just some amazing stuff there. A lot of haunted house history is located around Salem. Barrett's Haunted Mansion is a very old attraction, incredibly great reputation. So we're excited to see that. And then we're going to make our way up to see Fright Kingdom, Tim Dunn's place. We went there before. What a great attraction. And it has grown and grown and grown over the years. And then, of course, Haunted Overload. And when people talk about haunted attractions, you know, when people ask me, you know, what is Haunted Overload like? I said, Haunted Overload is Halloween. It just is Halloween.
Yes.
It's so epic. But the really cool thing is how you're going to see it. You're going to see Haunted Overload twice. And what this means is we're going to go there. He has a tour during the day. So we're going to go during the day. The sun is out. You can see everything. You're going to walk through and get a full view of everything. And you're going to get to see how the place is put together. You're going to be able to take pictures. It's going to be an amazing experience. And then we're going to leave there. We're going to go see Fright Kingdom, have amazing festivities and see that attraction. And then we're going to go back to Haunted Overload that night for the full production show with all the lighting and the sound. So you're going to see Haunted Overload 2 different ways, and you're really going to get a drill in to see that place. And for those of you who've not heard of Haunted Overload, you know, they build these colossal structures out of, you know, wood and natural materials. Look it up. It's amazing. All the haunts in this tour are pretty epic, and they've all got a lot of history in them. So it's going to be, I think, a really great tour. And of course, it'll develop. There'll be more things that we'll announce as we move closer to time and exactly how it's going to lay out. But I think people are going to be just absolutely, you know, ecstatic. Also, you know, again, not to tell you some other information, but some of the team on an Overload are going to be presenting a seminar this year at TransWorld. So you'll be able to take a seminar and learn some of their techniques on how they do the amazing things they do over there. So that's another thing that we're very excited about. So yeah, we're going to be drenching ourselves in Halloween, New England. And we're very excited about that. And it's going to be amazing. Standing by that bonfire when it was all over after carved all the hundreds of actual pumpkins for us at the end of it all, you know, it was pretty magical. I remember we got there, the vehicle I was in got there kind of late. We were like the last through the haunt, and it was incredible. And then we came out and said, "Can I walk through alone?" You know, just the actor
Take it in.
Bonfire. And I just was walking through, the lights were still on, the sound, and I still remember that vividly. I mean, I'm a big fan of haunted attractions. I'm excited to go to any kind because there's always something really neat in them. But walking away from that tour, I mean, I remember we went to Spooky World. That was a great show, and they gave us lobster. You know, that was great.
How can you beat that?
Tim Dunn.
Just putting it out there for Haunted Overload and any other New England staples that wants to give us lobster. Ben and I vote yes.
World, they're not able to participate this year. They're starting a Christmas program, probably caused by you guys, and so their version they're not going to be able to open for Legendary Force this year. But like I said, there'll be other adventures we'll go on. You know, spend more time in Salem. We'll see the Haunted Mansion. And it's going to be a fantastic tour. And I think if you want to just reignite your spirit and your love of Halloween, this is a great tour to go on. It really is.
Ben, as you know about those conversations that you have on the bus with different haunt owners and people within the industry, we always were asking that question, like, hey, where would you like to see us go? And there are tons of great attractions, but the one that Rich and I heard time and time again was Haunted Overload. And so excited. I mean, the biggest demand I've seen.
And, you know, and it's inspirational. Like a couple of years ago, we built 2 23-foot tall giant coffins with skeletons in. They're massive, and you know they're inspired by Haunted Overload, and they're dwarfed by the things that are at Haunted Overload. The scale of what Eric Lowther and his team have done there it's amazing. And he's also got a very active TikTok channel that he also pushes onto Instagram and Facebook sometimes, so you can really see how they build stuff. It's unlike what, you know, most of us, you know, we're in buildings, or, you know, we're the scale of what they're doing, like everything is like rough hewn wood, and it is massive. The stuff there, it's really unlike. Like,
I believe it was Alan Hops that might have called it like the most Halloweeniest haunted house of all time. It's something. So I don't want to.
Yeah, Haley had great things to say.
Something like
that. Yes, the most Halloweeniest. Yeah, I remember we we were having breakfast the day after, and he was like, You've made me and my wife very happy having this tour here. He was so happy. He was just like, he was so excited. He was being like powerfully understated. He's like, you've made us very happy. He was like, it was a magic trip. And I think that's what we're going to try to recapture.
For a few people that are future planning, should they plan for the second weekend of November, which would be November 10th through the 12th to 2023?
That's generally when we schedule the tour. And this was a decision long ago. For many years, there were haunt tours all over the place, all times of the year. And it's very challenging sometimes for the operator to open those attractions middle of the year because you're in the middle of a build. You don't have your whole acting staff, but to simply extend it allows you to go see attractions that are ones that do a lot of tear down and a lot of winterizing. And you would not be able to go to a place like Haunted Overload, during May or something. It just wouldn't work. But that's generally the time that allotted for this tour. And I think it's going to it's going to just be a fantastic event.
I cannot wait. I'm with you, Tim, about the surf and turf. But super excited. I mean, Salem, the Sanderson sisters, are
I know.
to Nicole over here.
And I'm sorry, guys. I am texting my son who's like, Mom, can I go to Legendary? Because he's watching this cast with my son. Right. And my sister lives in that area, and we are there very often. And it doesn't matter how many times you visit Salem. It's magical. And then Haunted Overload is incredible. And I have not been to the other shows. I'm sorry. I know that I am very geography wise very close to them, but like them, they're operating when we are. And so right. This is a fantastic opportunity to be able to get to see these shows. And I'll never forget. I mean, people talk in our area definitely about Spooky World, or both Spooky World and Haunted Overload, and Haunted Overload being a big one that like our team tries to go and see once a year if possible, because it is just so incredibly magical. And there's a lot of questions and a lot of comments coming in from Surf and Turf, and oh my gosh, sorry, I'm getting distracted by the comments. I keep seeing lobster.
We're not promising that. I mean, that was something that World was able to provide for us because they have an amazing facility and they have a great restaurant there too. But you will definitely, I'm sure you'll get quite a taste of New England before you're done. You may clam chowder, but you'll get a taste of New England.
We do have a question from someone you may know, Mr. John Eslich. He wants to know if we will have exclusive access or will the attractions be open to the public during Legendary?
It's early. It's hard to say. I think in many cases, I believe that the last time Haunted Overload did open just for us. But I don't want to put words in his mouth. I really don't know if he's open that late normally. Generally, a lot of haunts are now open that late, but I don't know that haunts that are that northerly tend to do that as often.
That's hard. It's very hard.
I don't want to make promises about that, but we'll know more about that as we move further along.
Okay.
Good to know. There's a lot of people commenting. Nikki saying she lived 5 minutes from Salem all my life. Very spoiled. Absolutely.
And Tara saying it's a bucket list haunt for her and for many others.
Yes, Ben, you're making a lot of people happy. I would say that this is a lot of haunters' Christmas wish that you are granting.
It's a Christmas miracle.
Not me. Miracle. A small cog in the wheel of this machine,
Oh my Garland, don't be modest. All right, I told you, I forewarned you. This is where we're at. Go from Sanderson's sister to my own little elf here. So, oh my God, this is amazing. This is a really great announcement. Thank you, Ben, for joining us here tonight.
My pleasure.
All of this legendary information, and there's a lot of people that want to go now. Sean, I agree. Let's just go tonight. Jump in a car, make it happen. Sean is a neighbor of mine, though, so like we
can't. Amex statement. Can't go tonight. Yeah.
Here's a fun fact. Ben, have you ever done this? Have you ever recapped the amount of charges that you've made on Amazon?
See, that's the thing. I use Oh gosh, it's like a double thing. Okay,
No. Like mine, like auto loads in a lot of
eBay,
ways, but
Etsy's, and the Amazons. They go on for. They sometimes split payments. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. But
no, it is.
But it's
a lot.
So you got to figure out what you spent, but you figure out what you made. So I don't. Got to figure this out before Christmas. Or I don't know. Better than coal.
Better than coal. I love it. I love it.
I'm sorry. My feed, I think, is breaking up a little bit with you guys.
That's
sorry.
Okay. That's okay. Ben, I know we have tons of things to talk about with TransWorld, but I also know that you are still busy putting those final things together so that we can release them right here in the future.
Right.
Is there anything you want to share with us now? The floor is yours.
Ooh, you're talking about seminars I take. Well,
or anything you want to hint at.
What's that?
Anything you want to hint at.
What do I want to hint at? Well, I mean, they came together fast, and but they came together great. I mean, there's a lot of really good ones there. There's strong things that are being covered that you would expect. There's a lot of new stuff in there that's intriguing. Like I said, I did hint at the one from Haunted Overload, which I think will be a good one. I think it's going to be a really good selection. We were sitting there the other day trying to, you got to select, which one goes against which ones. And we were like, man, this is tough. It's like, you were there. We were trying to figure that out. So it was, or I should say I was there. You and Jim were trying to figure it out. I was just there briefly. They were.
No, but you did a great job. You gave us great guys on what we need to do.
It was like, wow, this is going to be, these are going to be some really good ones, and I think people are going to enjoy it. And it is crazy that it is so soon. I mean, we just, we're like I said, we're still like taking down the pumpkins right now, and it's like it's looming upon us. So there's a lot to do. There's a lot of preparation for a lot of people, including myself.
The whole back process, I don't know if people know this, is very interesting. It's very much like a calculated like NFL draft day, right? You're like calling certain people and you're like moving things around, and so like all of that is not done by accident. There's a lot of passion and love that goes into that process. And also like the things that Jen thinks about, or I guess that we all think about, is like, okay, we don't want somebody that's doing a tech seminar necessarily missing another tech seminar, and like anybody that's an operator to miss another. Like there's so much love and thought that goes into it all the way around. And I think Ben's right in saying I think we got it right.
It's going to be solid. And of course you guys have all the other ones too. You got Christmas, you got what's ever on the escape side. I mean, which I believe has been rebranded.
Yes, it's now interactive. So we have more than just the escape rooms. We've also got so if you're ever thinking of getting into axling, you want to know more about adding selfie stations, or if you're thinking about gel ball or laser tag or paintball, all of that is now at the show. And it's just incredible. And also getting to talk to new people that are joining the show and going to have, their first times there as well is just awesome.
It's going to be something to be going to show this early. It's going to feel weird because a lot of times, we're, a lot of us do this year round. Of course, we're always building, and we're getting into it early, but it always did feel like TransWorld was the kickoff, to season starting. And when it was late a couple of years ago, gave you a mess screwed up with like, time of year is it anyway? What is happening? But this year with it being early, we'll get built. It'll be like a breeze because you'll get in this panic mode, like, we got to build, and it's like, wait a minute, it might snow. What's going on here? So
it's like me the first week of December. I'm like, I'll just wrap all the presents because I'm done shopping. It's the first time ever.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how we'll feel on that side. Couple questions coming in. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm just saying it'll be a little weird, and and of course, this choice, this had to be because the renovation is going on. This wasn't something that TransWorld chose to do. It was something that we had to do. So that's something that's important to tell people, because I know a lot of people are confused, and some people are still like, it's when, even though it's been used to following the path of all of the previous years. But yeah, it's kind of early, and but we'll make the best of it. I think, and it's going to be a great show. I think it's going to be might be cold. We'll see.
But it's going to be awesome. It's going to, and there's
Yeah.
so many things. The events are live. That's our one of our things that we're going to talk about in just a little bit here. We got some questions coming in. Will Nicole be giving a tour of Salem? Possibly. I may be able to be. I may be able to be convinced for you guys, for the TransWorld Live crew. Absolutely. John wants to know when the floor plan is going to be up on the site. John, you're actually going to be able to hear from direct from the source very soon on that. And seminar list is soon. It's like ASAP. It is. Ben and I can tell you point blank, working around the clock right now. To get that list live. And, if you guys didn't realize, this is between Christmas and Halloween time is very, very busy for a lot of us, but it's also very busy for a lot of our speakers. So tracking them down has, has been a big part of it. And getting them to, not only give us their little magical information, but also making sure that it's all right. And then, verifying stuff on their side. So this is, it's earlier for you guys. It's also earlier for us in so many ways.
Yeah. You're talking to people. What am I hearing? The beach?
Yeah.
The beach. I'm on my computer here, and there's a lot of, many people, they go right out and have fun. The season is fun, but they have more fun, different kinds of right after the season. So yes, they're challenging to track down right now.
Yeah. They don't all sit behind their computer and wait for TransWorld Live like we do. They're not as dedicated.
What is wrong with us?
That's it. All right, guys, we gotta go. We gotta talk about what we're doing wrong.
Jana, we agree. It is a huge honor. Thank you guys for agreeing. Max, what's up from Ohio? That's awesome to see you.
And Scott's got a question about any rumors on a haunt tour, and also the new Vampire Circus. Absolutely. There's Scott, the best answer to that is going to be tuning in here every single week. There's going to be all sorts of stuff that we are releasing. We are only, I almost said 43 days, Chris.
That would be even worse. Right.
Yeah, it would be worse. Yes. We're only 64 days away, but we have so much happening. And like Ben just shared with us, awesome news coming in on the legendary side. Also awesome news on some of the content and teasers that are coming out for that side of things. And we have even more happening here on this show tonight. And but wait, there's more.
There's more.
And hopefully seminars are very zesty this year. Absolutely they will be, Kyle. And
I would imagine, Nicole and Ben, we are going to do a deep dive in all of these seminars as soon as they're publicly released.
Yes.
Would you agree?
Yes. We have gotten very intimate with them. We know their inner workings. We know the wording. We know what some people are even going to be wearing when they present them.
There we go.
Getting kind of weird.
No, it's very close though. That's what I
Do you have to put down your voices on the contracts now?
Yeah, Ben, you're wearing plaid if you didn't already see it.
It's cold.
Yeah, exactly. Ben, you got a lot of love coming in. People loved your show this year. You all are killing it.
Oh yeah.
Yes, there will be 9 a.m. seminars. There's going to be all sorts of seminars posted very, very soon. Yes, lots of awesome comments for you, Ben.
Love for Netherworld for sure.
Well, Ben is amazing.
Yes.
Netherworld is amazing. I mean, there's no argument there. That's great.
Thank you guys. Yeah, it's great to see all the haunters. We've got one of the longest schedules in the industry. I think we're open a lot of weekdays, and we're open late, so we have a lot of haunters, and it's great. And talk to them in the midway, and sometimes I can grab them and take them backstage and show them what's going on. So it's always fun when you get to talk to your peers and share war stories about the season, and show them all your fun toys. It's lots of fun.
Awesome. Well, Ben, thank you so much for joining us. We are just so honored. Yeah, I hate to spoil it for you, but you got to get back to that Amex bill.
Oh yeah, that's
You got to get it settled before TransWorld so you can buy more.
I'm not.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the great news, man.
Yeah.
My pleasure. See you guys later.
See you later.
See you soon. Oh
wow.
That's
wow.
Like, I'm like so excited. I mean, did I know before a little bit? Sure. You know, I can't fool you guys with that. However, like hearing it official makes me so excited. And then also just like, as you're talking about it and I'm seeing people like comment like, oh my God, I love this. And you know, this is magical during this time and this and this. All I kept thinking I was like, oh my God, another chance to go to my favorite chowder spot. I can't wait.
See, I couldn't agree with you more. I think you said it perfectly. Like you and I were together when we got that news about this decision, and it doesn't feel real until Ben announced it. Until now it's out there and it's real. It's happening.
And I mean, and the other thing is like Chris and I got to see each other like right after haunt season and really talk about like how much the magic is and like how magical this season was, not only for myself, but a lot of other people. And we got to visit some haunts together and like, just, I'm still on a high from that in so many ways. And also for what transpired while I was at certain haunts, but it was fantastic and awesome. And I'm so ready for TransWorld. And like,
oh my God.
Yes, we talked about it. I've been very immersed in it, as has Jen and Rich, Ben, Stephanie, Anne-Marie, Chris. We're all in this, like in the trenches, elbows deep, making a promise and a public statement right here. We have been working hard and it's going to be worth the wait in a lot of ways for a lot of this stuff. As soon as we announce it, like it's just, it's great. It's so awesome. Oh, all right, Chris, we still have another half of a show to do.
We have tons of more information to give. Cannot wait. And I mean, literally like our famous tagline of wait, there's more. Like get an energy shot, get some coffee because we got way more to talk about tonight.
I think we're ready to go. I think our next guest is ready to let it rip with all sorts of information. None other than one of our favorite cohorts in crime in a lot of ways.
Rich. Mr. Rich Bianco.
Dark, where'd he go?
He's there.
I'm here.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Hey.
Hi.
Folks, just to give sort of for the folks that weren't at Legendary or when we're working at other things, like Rich literally has the entire layout of the floor and he is constantly working on making that the best. Like we could be having fun with some attractions or doing whatever, and he's got it in his backpack. He's ready to roll. Like it is 24/7 planning for TransWorld.
True. Very true.
Yeah, actually, Rich, we will attest for you that Chris and I both stood there and saw exactly the massive amount of work that you are, and you're like painstakingly sitting there working on till wee hours of the night and morning and just constantly on the phone and constantly like all for us, all for the industry. Like, thank you for the work you're doing. If nobody else tells you that today.
Oh, I appreciate that. The slave driver that owns the company, I'm like the only one that normally like a company of this size would probably have 10 people doing my job,
but not with Rich.
It's very nice that somebody like recognizes that I'm the only one that does this. So it's funny. I go to other shows like IAP on there and I don't even know my salesperson. We go in there and there's 50 of them and you don't even know who they are. So
that's true.
Everyone pretty much knows me. If you exhibit with us, I generally know the majority of the exhibitors, their families, things like that. I usually get to know them. So, and I apologize for the shitty lighting, but like I'm actually in the middle of assigning booths right now. So like that's what I've been doing all night. I'm
literally he can't even leave his post.
I'm hoping to finish it this week. Because the delay is that, as some people might have seen a post on Facebook a while ago. We just found out literally maybe 3 weeks ago from the convention center that we're not being displaced and we're going to stay in halls 1 through 5, which originally we were going to be moved into the dome and use halls 3, 4, 5, and the dome, which is nice in theory. But the problem is there's a big annex and a walkthrough that you have to go through to get to the Christmas side of things. And it kind of feels like it's separated. It doesn't feel like one show when it's like that. So the good thing about this year is we're going to be right back to where we always have been. They haven't started the construction in halls 1 and 2, but they have started the new building. So what the good thing about that is for the following year, when we get back to our March dates and everything's back to normal, the only difference will be is we'll be using the new hall, which they're calling Hall X, and then we'll be using the halls 3, 4, 5. So we won't have to be displaced into, the dome. So that'll be nice.
That's awesome. But that also means that a lot of your work has had to shift around with this and like getting the floor plan finished and solidifying a lot of that stuff.
Well, normally, like I would be long done, and people would be calling now asking where, what spaces are available so they can book. Because there's always people that are late, or they, they're not sure if their budget is available to do the show, things like that. So they wait till the last minute. And then I meet a lot of people at the end of the year. I mean, honestly, we still sign on another 30 companies the last 2 weeks of the show, before the show. So like I anticipate that there's a pretty solid chance that we will sell out, which we don't do. We generally find a way to make space for somebody, but I'm not kidding you this year. There's literally,
I'm not either.
I don't know anywhere to put anywhere else to put people.
So
and like, if there's any advice I can give you in the past, like the hotbed of the show has always been way to the left at the dark zone, but you're going to find out there are a ton of companies to the right now. And, we created this whole interactive area now, and I'm still laying that out. And I still have probably 60 companies to assign just in Haunt. And then Christmas, there's quite a bit too. So, it's a massive amount of work and trying to figure out where everyone's pleased and being in a spot that works for them. But I would definitely, if you're coming this year, be sure to spend more time going up and down the aisles, because you're going to find out that in the past, we've always had very large booths. They were more of a bulk space area with a lot of one product and a massive booth because they have, one big product. It's not going to be like that this year. There will be some of that, but there's going to be companies that, a lot of smaller companies that are to the right that are over there. You're going to see quite a bit of them. So, yeah.
Rich doing the good work. Really.
Yeah, it's an artistry. Nicole and I have gotten a chance to obviously be with Rich a bunch of times this month, and just to see how this process works, folks. He doesn't get sleep. He does not.
No.
Yeah, in between, riding roller coasters and losing all your money in your credit card.
What?
That didn't happen. That didn't happen.
It's the funniest thing that's ever happened to me. But thank goodness for metal credit cards, because that one actually landed. I can find it, but the cash is floating around somewhere, and somebody's very happy right now. So there's large bills there.
So I know that John Eslich asked, and I know some others had asked, like, how soon will that layout be online? And I know the answer is as soon as humanly possible.
Yeah. So here's the problem. So I'm just about done, but then I have to go through our decorator, and I have to actually manually go over every single booth and the size with them. And that's probably going to take a few days to do that for them to assign it on their floor plan, which if you understand it, if you're ordering services and things from them, they have your booth number, but they don't know the actual complete layout of how I've designed it. So they wait on that from me, and then we set up the carpet and design how the carpet's going to lay out and things like that. So generally when I'm doing a floor plan, I try to do it different than other shows that I've been to of our size. They have a lot of booths that you walk into, you walk down an aisle and you just walk right into a booth, and it blocks the aisleway. I try to have more of a symmetrical floor plan, so there's a good flow from left to right. So no matter where you're placed in our show, you can still get solid traffic, and people are able to walk, the whole horizontal distance of the show and find every aisleway. So, that's kind of how we try to do it. And this year it's even more symmetrical than ever. So
a good grid system.
Yeah, you do a great job with it.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
If people have been to other shows, they notice how much passion goes into that.
I don't think people really understand how much work is into trying to figure out where everyone goes and how it's laid out. And then there's a lot of spots on the floor and against walls that you're not allowed to put stuff. And I'm always looking for additional space, and everybody wants that ideal spot where they think they want to be. And sometimes I have customers actually call me and they pick the worst booth ever, and I try to explain to them that it's just not a good spot, but they do a lot of shows, so they assume that that's going to work for them, but they find out like in the next year that they want to be where I probably suggested for them to be. I understand how the traffic flows in the show, and I'm glad that I'm actually very excited, even though it was a lot of work for me, that they put us back in halls 1 and 2. I just think, when you change dates, you want to change the least amount of people don't like changes. So the least amount of changes are better for us and better for everyone. So they're going to be able to see, I some changes that I could say we went over. I saw some questions that people have posted. The dark zone is definitely larger. There's a whole nother island in the middle of the dark zone. So of 6 booths right in the center, and there's some down the side, and some other people took additional space. So, your usual suspects are in there, and some additional people have moved into that area. And I'm still working on a couple others that potentially may be going in that area. So that's always a huge draw for us, the dark zone, and people like to go there. We will have 2 entrances and exits. So like back, we did that.
Ooh.
So like you'll be able to go in one way and exit the other way, or vice versa.
Wow.
So it allows the traffic flow a little bit better. That first row at our show is kind of weird. It's unique. It's only an 8-foot aisle, and it's the only 8-foot aisle in our show. All the rest are 10 or more. The majority of them, they're all 10 feet except for the 1300 aisle. That one's 20 feet wide. So like that aisle does get a little bit congested. So it's nice to have an entrance and an exit, up there to allow for, the traffic to flow in and out of the dark zone.
Yeah, I don't want to let anybody in on my secret, but the way that I usually experience the dark zone, so I can actually go in there and purchase things, is the doors open and I run. It's not the best thing at all. But I found that previously that was the only way to get in there and look around and stuff. No, I shouldn't say that. No, but the dark zone is extremely popular. You've got a lot of people really excited to
lots of comments
experience that. Yeah. And then question: is there arcade machines this year?
Arcades machines, like as in so that's interesting you say that, because we had an exhibitor that wanted to bring in that stuff. It's very hard to convince them to the manufacturers of those machines and stuff to come in and do the show, because they always think that it's not a fit for them. But yet the more we're doing some seminars on gift shops and stuff, and you guys may have touched on this earlier in the show, which I didn't watch, but their gift shops are exploding, and they're basically, a lot of these guys are putting pinball machines in there, and the crane machines, and they're doing very well with them, a bunch of video games and things like that they do. And so it's been a challenge for me to try to get one of those guys to come in and exhibit. And we had someone last year that actually came and walked the show and was very impressed and considered it, but they still don't see the benefit for them yet, but hopefully some folks out there that run into them. I know one arcade machine we would all love to have there, so we could actually selfishly play it, and Tater made a post about that, the Killer Queen arcade machine. Honestly, we have plans for a secret event, with some people, within the company, and Tater, of course, and Nicole from New Orleans. We started this thing at Legendary. Actually, the story actually started several years ago at Utah at Legendary. We went to an arcade bar. We try to find those when we're in town, and we ran into this game. And if you haven't had a chance to play it, one of the funnest games I've ever played. It is 10 players, and I was telling everybody about it at this Legendary, and we ended up finding a bar and went and played. But when I originally played it, I played it with a bunch of the Zombie Army guys and some other folks that we just happened to find the game, and it was so much fun because you have 5 against 5 on 2 different screens and you're competing with each other. But we found a local bar that is a chain of the bar that we played at the last Legendary in Nashville, which incidentally I didn't bring my ID and they didn't want to let me in the bar. So I had to show my grandchildren, and then they said, well, shit, if you have grandkids. So we ended up going in, and we had the best night ever. I don't understand how the bar makes money on the drinks, because I don't know that we bought more than 3 drinks total, each, maybe 2. I had 2 and everyone might have had 3.
So I've never played this game, but I've heard about it. And I like literally now it's like the great hunt to find one. There you go.
Well,
Nicole,
yeah, Chris can speak on this because like he takes it a step further than we do. There's actually an app with locations of this game all over the country, and like he looked it up. We were trying to, while we were at IAPA, we were trying to find one down there and play it, and we couldn't. So it was too far. It was like a 40-minute ride or whatever. So he incidentally found one in St. Louis. It's very close to the center, and we have plans, for a night prior to the show starting that we're going to be going there. So.
The whole plan is just to get Nicole exposed to this, and she'll be addicted, and there'll be one at Nightmare Farms. And
but we already have another Nicole that's on our team. She's one of the founding members. You can't be part of that group. It's me, Tater, Chris, and Nicole.
We call her Nikki so that there's no confusion.
Yes, that's fine. So,
Nikki's my girl.
We're loyal to her, so she's obviously part of our group. And then others, it's by invitation only. So you're welcome to come watch, but participation is limited, and it'll be.
I will be on hydration duty. You know that I love to take care of helping out on that side.
Well, we're going to be doing like interviews and kind of trying to decide on who we feel would be good enough to play on our team, because this is a very important event for us. We're all very competitive, and
Tater just put me in, so
that's good. You can be on his team. I hope you start games, because that would be great. We like weak players on the other team, so that'll be fun.
Guys, I hate to break this up.
I mean, let's be honest. Ask Chris the real truth of this. We were putting it on them pretty good until this ringer at the bar comes over and asked to take my spot, and I was like, "Yeah, you're not taking my spot." So he went over on their team and jumped on their squad, and then they whooped our ass for a while. Beat us a bunch of games in a row because they were so good at it. And then when he quit, it went right back to the standard.
So what I'm hearing is, Rich, you need to find the manufacturer of this game to be at the show.
We'd love to, but I mean, the game's very pricey. It's pretty awesome. But the problem is none of us would be working. We'd all be in that.
That's
exactly what I'm saying.
Jen would have to come by and go, guys, get back to work.
Yeah, I don't think Jen would be very happy, man. I mean, maybe she'd buy the game, and if we were paying to play it,
That's it.
Exactly. Now, guys, not to bring this conversation back, however, Brian so nicely just reminded us that we are so close. He was just like 9 weeks away, question mark. Yeah, crazy.
Can't believe it. Seriously.
And that's 9 weeks to the show. Like, setup starts before that. So we're literally 8 weeks out. We get into town 10 days before the show. So we're like 7.5 weeks away from leaving, for us to go there and start setting up. So it's very close. We're very excited. We're not concerned at all about the time of year. I'm going to be honest with you. It's really bad. Like how packed it is. I just don't know how I'm going to fit all these people in and make it ideal, for everybody. Let me shut this light out since I'm getting text saying that
There you go.
Hey.
How much that's going to help it? Maybe a little bit, but that might be better. My screen is just blurry. I don't use my camera much.
There we go.
And folks, our countdown for 64 days is to February 1st. Now, the show opens February 2nd, but we just released these amazing events. The party starts for the public Wednesday, February 1st.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and Rich, the other thing is you talked about space being packed. This is one thing that I actually want to make sure that people realize is that the more vendors that are there, the more buyers that are going to be there, and the more that we need to impress upon you guys. Make sure you're registering. I know the seminars aren't live yet. New things are happening. But the big thing is that we are going to have more buyers there. Like when you're talking about aisles that are 8 feet wide, 10 feet wide, 20 feet wide, that's to accommodate the amount of people. So like if you've never been to TransWorld and you're planning on going, you got to make sure you're not only getting your hotel, you're definitely signing up for the show. Rich, you talking about like space being sold out. You're giving me like 2020 vibes, like before that, because I want to make sure that like people realize like that show was very close to being sold out, right, Rich?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, we're very fortunate, like with everything that happened with COVID and everything. No one knew where the trade show industry would end up, and a lot of trade shows are suffering. But, fingers crossed, and we're very blessed that people in this industry are very passionate about what they do, and they've had amazing seasons from what I've seen. I mean, Chris travels around a lot; he can attest to that. Goes to a lot of haunted houses. We do a lot of family trips and try to visit as many of our friends that we can and peers that attend our show, within reason as far as we can go. And I've never seen lines like I've seen. And like every year, I always have this stress of, I got to beat my last year's number. I got to get more exhibitors. I got to have more space sold. I got to this. And it is so strange that a lot of people complained about February. I've never had an easier show to sell in my life. It has been crazy how well people did this year and how excited they are to come and sell in so many new products and new companies. And, it's going to be fun.
The other big thing that was just recently brought up was a lot of buyers that are from Canada. One, this is like the first year that they can actually come. Two, it's not over their spring break. So there's a lot of people that are like, oh my God, I'm totally going to be there. Plus, that Facebook user that just posted that, if you don't know who that is the one, Jen Taylor, that is saying officially this will be the biggest show ever. Like not even yet, but just ever. There's just been so much work that's been poured into this year in a lot of ways. And then, somebody asked earlier about health restrictions and stuff. And, one of the great things about the city of St. Louis, as well as TransWorld, we have a constant update if anything changes that goes onto the health and safety tab of all of the show's websites. So that's really, really awesome. My gosh, sorry guys, I'm just looking at everything here.
No worries. Yeah, but go ahead, Chris.
No, we did have a question, and I think a lot of people are thinking about it. Is there a pre-show tour? And the best advice that we can give is stay tuned to this show. We are working out some details, and they're going to be released here in future weeks, so stay tuned.
Yeah,
there's always something going on. I know a lot of the events and stuff have started populating onto the website. I know the seminars are very close to going up and stuff, and a lot of that should be up over the next week or so. I mean, you got to realize the show is literally, it's usually the third week of March traditionally, and like where we are the first week of February and set up in January, so it's a big difference, and we're all going to be after this year's show. What a long wait for next year's, you know what I mean? Because we go back into March, and I traditionally like March. I'm used to it, so it's something that's I'm excited to see what it's like in February this year, because we're going to be done earlier. You know what I mean? And it gives us all a chance to, like whatever you purchased, you have time to think about things that you may purchase after the show. You're going to have more time. You're going to have more time to get your products in, and that's the good thing about it. It's going to be kind of neat to have that extra time.
From myself, as my company started getting into vending, one of the big things that we've had the discussion about is the extra weeks are now production time, and like we have the opportunity to bring in more customers this year. Last year we had a cap on the amount of people that we could do product for and make sure that we were getting it in times of their needs, and it's actually like incredible to see, because then it clicked at me on the buyer side. I'm like, wait. There's more opportunity. We're going to be able to get, the hundreds of pumpkins and the other things that are on our shopping list, all the way through.
Yeah. It's going to be great. Totally.
Yeah. Rich, this may be a little too soon, but we do have a question from Tara, and probably some others are wondering, do we have the 2024 dates in stone?
I wish I was somebody that actually pays attention to that, but I almost never do. But if you text Jen right now, I'm sure I'm surprised she hasn't posted it yet, if she's watching. But what are the dates? I hear her yelling, so she'll probably post it or something, but let's give it a few minutes. I'm sure.
I just text her as well.
Yeah, she'll get you the dates and let you know when it is or whatever.
And it's great. We're getting some really good feedback. Ken in the chat here had said, so excited to come back to TransWorld after the border restrictions have been eased. Love that it's in February because in March it's spring break. So cost is 50% more. So they're saving money and getting to come.
No, that's true. It's a good point. And you know what? If I could give advice to anybody or anything, if you're concerned about weather or any of that stuff, set your travel plans to come a day earlier. I mean, like, just make it safe for yourself.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter even if it's in March. There's been blizzards in March, and it's occurred. I've lived through them, so they can happen anytime. If you're concerned about that, just travel a day earlier so you're in town. Going home's never a problem, but if you miss something, you miss a day of the show or whatever, you can't replace that. So, my advice would, if you normally come in on Thursday, try to come in on Wednesday or come in on Tuesday, whatever works for you, just in case you get a flight that's bumped or, you're driving. The great thing about where our show's located, we have a lot of people that drive. So, leave a day earlier, give yourself the time, hopefully the money you saved with, this time of year being a little cheaper to come to St. Louis, you can put it into having an extra day of vacationing. I mean, there are a lot of people that come into town early, all the exhibitors are there and, all of us are there. So it's the town starts filling up as of Sunday, the Sunday prior to the show. So, a lot of us arrive into town that day, and then Monday morning we start on setup. So it's not a bad idea to come in a day early if you can.
Well, sorry, go ahead. I was going to say, Brian just had a really great point.
Yep.
He's shipping a week earlier just in case.
Just in case. Yep.
All the way from Portland. It's really important to know that, like, getting in earlier. And then, I know, like, for myself, I'm traveling earlier. Kids, my haunt kids are all traveling earlier. We just had a little pre-meeting tonight talking about that in a lot of ways. And, it's just planning ahead in all ways, shapes, or form. Breaking news, dates for 2024 are March 7th through the 10th. There's your answer, folks.
Wow.
Thanks,
Jen.
There's your dates, Tara.
Rich, we had
Tara, I didn't forget. I know I still owe you a seminar from last year. So I do remember that. I don't forget things. That's one thing I don't forget. Like, I have a mind like an elephant where it could be 20 years from now and I still remember. So
Tara says thanks.
I will just remind me at the show to make sure I actually give you the pass this time.
Rich, if people still need to get their booth space or want to get booth space, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Email or my cell number. My cell number is right on the website. If you just click on the contact button, like, we're very hands-on. My cell phone number's on there. You can text me, call me, send an email, what you want. There are so many people that are still messaging me that did the show last year and might not have signed up. There's still good space left. I would get something in soon. I am not kidding that literally we're going to be in a situation where there isn't space left this year, and I've never had to turn somebody down, but we may be there. We always get some of these guys like in the last minute that they come in to try to get boosts, like the heat warmer guys, which I'm sure a lot of you bought those heat packs last year. Like, that guy's booth was literally packed the whole show. I mean? They boil those little packs and stuff, but they're going to have a little harder time getting in this year just because of how packed the floor really is. So, I got some space in a dark zone. That's always a spot where I can probably add a few booths here and there, just because you have to have a very unique product to be able to sell in there with the noise and it being dark. Besides that, I'm like trying to find, booths I can even put in the bathroom if I have to. So,
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it.
I would, but maybe we put some in the hallway. I don't know. Let's see what happens.
Rich, where's this one? It's actually on the second floor, just outside the seminar room for the interactive entertainment. We just thought it'd be best there. But,
there you go. That can work too. So I'm and another thing we're going to try to cut down on. There was a lot of inflatables and fans last year. Not that we're against that, because a lot of that stuff sold very well. We're going to try to contain that a little bit better, maybe put it towards the end of the show, because the sound of those fans are very loud, so that we have like the booths in front. I have one company that will have a booth with some fans in it that's kind of like in the middle of the interactive area, just a little bit further left where it first starts. But then we'll have the main hub of the interactive area, and then there's going to be a section in the center that Nicole's running. It's kind of like a hub for meeting up and stuff like that. And then towards
The
the back.
lounge and learn.
Yes, and then
We'll get to that soon, though.
towards the back, I'll have, probably some of the interactive type stuff like rides and amusement rides and things like that, because we have them there every year. And then some of the inflatables will be along the back wall there so that the fans aren't as drowning. It's very hard to hear when you're trying to do business. And we've had some of the guys in the escape room area, that formerly known as the escape room area, would complain about that because it was hard for them to hear. So, we try to listen to those complaints and try to accommodate everybody's needs. So, hopefully, we'll correct that as best as we can. The VIP booth is going to be in a similar location, but being that I don't have as much space, it's probably going to be up a little bit higher. And it'll be near the restaurant area. So you'll be able to enter and exit from in there, which will make it simple. Normally we would have it into an alleyway, but I don't know that I'll be doing that this year just because of the amount of space that I made for, some cool products that people are bringing. Most people that did the show last year did very well, and they expanded. So that's the great thing about it. We did have, I'm always honest about what we have. I probably had a few companies that just aren't coming just because of the timing. It just didn't work for them. Very few though. For the amount of increase in space that we took on from the people that stayed, literally it's been amazing. So working on that as well. So, but
now, if folks don't see a vendor that they normally would see at TransWorld, is it just safe to assume it's based on the time of year, more or less? Then
I mean, that's a tough call, because like some companies just go out of business, or they decide it's not for them anymore. So not necessarily. There's a few, but I'm pretty hands-on at the show. You're welcome to stop at the office and ask for me, or text me. My cell phone number is clearly on the website. You can text me and say, hey, I'm looking for this company, was here last year. They're not here. Are they coming? Are they still around? Whatever. Being that the show is made up of a lot of smaller companies, we have a huge mixture. There's big companies, there's mid-size, and then there's a lot of small. But that's where it all starts. You know what I mean? The little guy eventually becomes the big guy. But some of them don't make it. You know what I mean? They come for a couple of years, and maybe it just doesn't. Maybe they're not great business people, or maybe they just didn't have the right product for the show. Or maybe their prices weren't great, or they didn't know how to sell the product. That just happens sometimes, and some may come and go. But the majority of our exhibitors that come in, our retention rate is literally amazing.
Yeah.
They stay, do well, and they take in on enough orders that they generally don't do other shows. Like we even, as you guys know, we have another show, Midwest Hunters Convention, and I struggle at times getting, for the massive amount of exhibitors we struggle to get the majority of these guys to want to go to that show, because, and the biggest complaint isn't because they don't want to do the show or they don't feel they're not going to get sales. It's because they can't take on any more orders.
Right.
Yes, they take on too many orders at our show, and it becomes a problem for them to fill the demand. So, I get it. Sometimes a guy will come in and he does one booth and he says, I'm going to do MHC because, I can't handle the amount of orders from TransWorld. I totally respect that, because they can't handle the number of orders. It's a pretty overwhelming show. But if you're ready to make that jump, this you're going to be very happy with what you end up with at the show.
That's so good.
It may be early, but David had a good question from the chat. If you had to guess at this point, at least with what you know, how many new vendors or exhibitors might we expect this year?
I mean, I haven't, honestly, I usually know down to the number at this point, but I haven't counted. I would guess in the range of 72.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, I have more new exhibitors at TransWorld than I ever have. Like people
that's awesome.
In book booths. So there's a lot. I mean, they're generally smaller guys, like where it's one booth, two booths, things like that. But there's a lot, and that's what's fun about the show is when you have somebody new, because like any industry, sometimes people, they kind of look at each other's products and they kind of get blinded a little bit, and they start making products that are similar to like their competitors' products instead of innovating their own stuff and trying to head in their own direction. Mm-hmm. But it's the best. They always say the best compliment is when someone copies what you do, because they feel it's a great product or something great. But what I love about the new guys is they're generally pure, and it's all new stuff that you don't see anywhere else. So that's kind of fun.
That's awesome.
You know, we had a great question from Sean, which affects all of us. Will there be a TransWorld Live Oasis again?
You know, it was the guy that ran it last year did such a terrible job that I'm not sure.
Get him out of here.
Yeah.
We will absolutely have a TransWorld Live booth, and Chris will be there manning it. I don't know how much Nicole will be there, but like Chris will definitely be running the booth there.
Sometimes Nicole will just be running around with T-shirts and buttons. That's like my MO there.
Yeah.
That's it.
And but the big thing is this is the number one thing. Make sure you say hi to Chris and I, because you never know what we have in our pocket. Sometimes it's like, I don't know.
Free tickets, surprises.
Free ticket. Right, exactly.
You never know.
Oh my God, thanks so much for coming. Here's to get in early.
Yeah,
just kidding.
seriously.
But
now we'll definitely have a booth. It's going to be kind of like a scavenger hunt, because I don't know where I'm putting it at this point. I still have the same location like on hold because it was a good spot, you know, from last year. But the way things are going, I don't know where it's going to end up. You know, I do have several people that are booking islands of booths that haven't turned in their contracts yet, and I know they're booking. They just, you know, they were doing other shows and they're busy, and it's going to be tough. And like our booth, it doesn't matter where we are, people are going to come to it. So you know, we'll put it somewhere, and you know, we'll definitely have some entertaining and fun stuff going on in there as usual.
Heck yeah. It was a big hit. Will we have the chairs back is a question that just popped up.
That's hilarious. But yes, we will. We actually have a bunch of them in stock, you know, waiting for TransWorld, you know, and we're always selling them at the show. We'll definitely have those at the show.
Different direction. And I'm going to ask both of you, both Rich and Nicole, if we have a lot of people commenting that this is their first time. What advice would you give to a first time attendee to TransWorld?
So Nicole, you can respond as a buyer, and I'll respond as you know, as a show promoter.
All right. The number one thing is for me, and I know this sounds crazy, and actually a lot of people ask me this, how I do it all in a lot of ways, is make sure you take care of yourself the week before. I know that sounds weird, and nobody else is probably going to ever tell you that. But in order to maximize your time there with not only all of the events and the networking, and then, you know, sometimes the crazy night adventures on the Lime scooters ending up at a crazy bingo or karaoke show or whatever. Make sure you're taking your vitamins, you're hydrating, you're doing all that. But also make sure you pack a couple of different pairs of very comfortable shoes. Like that's extremely important to taking care of yourself, taking care of your body. Somebody mentioned earlier, is there the 9 a.m. seminars? Yes, there's absolutely 9 a.m. seminars. But full disclosure, there's also the 3 a.m. pep talks in the hotel lobby over, you know, so-and-so who brought drinks and whatever. And sometimes the best things are learned from those people that it then corresponds with the amazing stuff you're going to learn at 9 a.m. So making sure you're taking care of your body is really important. And then taking it a step further, getting in early is essential in a lot of ways, kind of getting your lay of the land. And then don't expect to do the show floor all in one day. It's impossible.
No.
Like when people said to me before, all right, so if I could just make it on this Saturday, is that going to be enough? I'm like, no, I don't even sugarcoat it. I'm like, don't even bother coming. You're not going to be able to see everything.
No.
It's a marathon.
It's a marathon.
It is.
Yeah, sure.
So from my perspective, I do a lot of trade shows. So I go to them and I walk them, and I have I've developed like sort of a very unique way of walking a show and what I do. And Chris learned a little bit of that from me, you know, things that I do when he's come to some shows with me. I generally like to walk the show the first time and try to take everything in. And I actually, on my phone, on my notes, I actually get in my notes and I mark down booth numbers, and I put the company name, and then I make a list of places that I got to revisit. Sometimes if I was purchasing something, I will be honest with you, at our show, a lot of these guys will sell their displays. So if you see something you love, buy it on Thursday right away, because it'll be gone. It's not going to last to Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. So that's the first piece of advice. But there's a lot of guys. I mean, this is an order writing show, so you're going to have the ability to place orders with these guys. They don't sell the products right out of the booth the first day. They're not allowed. They have to leave them displayed until Sunday. So you're going to be able to see all this stuff. make notes, walk around. If you see comparing products that you want to work on pricing and stuff, I walk the whole show once. Then I come back and I start again from scratch, and I start hitting the ones that I liked. And you're going to be amazed at how many booths you missed. You think you take them all in, but you miss a bunch. You miss things that you didn't see the first time around. So you need to walk the show several times. Comfy shoes is definitely a major, and different shoes. It's kind of weird. So like I walk a lot of trade shows. And I made the mistake of bringing I'm a guy that like I'm a shoe guy. Like it's kind of weird, but people are like it's a girl thing. But like I actually enjoy shoes, and I have more shoes than most women do. It's crazy. Like, and when I come to shows, Kyle Flamboy always makes a joke. He's like, "Dude, your shoes are freaking awesome. Like, where do you get those?" He's like, "You always got like the coolest shoes." But I make the mistake of bringing. I'll find a shoe I like and I buy it in two colors and I bring the two colors to a show. But the way they fit your feet, it actually hurts wearing the same thing over and over. So you kind of need a different style of shoe. You know what I mean? Because it actually just the way it hits your arch and everything, it makes it feel different. And walking on that floor, our aisles are carpeted, so that's nice. It does give a little bit of a buffer, but it doesn't matter when you're walking that thing all day long. Your feet are killing you. You know what I mean? And you get flat feet from it. It hurts. That's something I would absolutely make sure that you bring different shoes, comfortable shoes, find times to eat, make sure you bring snacks and water and things like that in a backpack or whatever when you're there. Be sure to eat and pay attention, to doing that stuff. Don't take any, the events are extremely important. I know, like as a show promoter, people look at that and say, "Oh, you're just trying to sell us in on something." I'm going to tell you something. I've learned more going to events or going to after hours events. Like I was at a trade show recently, and I went to a Top Golf event that somebody had put on or whatever, and we put on tons of events during our show. And I learned more there and had a greater time and made relationships with people that eventually morphed into business from that night of hanging out, because they get to know you, they understand you. And think about it, if you're an exhibitor, it's something that I don't even understand why exhibitors don't do it. They say, "Oh, I'm exhausted from the floor, but I'm not going to do this." But it's 4 days that you're there, and you don't get the opportunity to keep doing. You only have 4 days. So you have to take that, and I know you're going to be exhausted, but you got to take that time and you got to work hard. Go to all the parties. You need to be there. You need to go do them. You need to.
That's what I mean. Take care of your body. Get ready. It's a marathon.
It's a marathon.
You have to be there. You're going to learn more stuff at night than you will on the damn trade show floor. Like, it's amazing. And that's why we do it. We set it up where it is a package. You're coming in and you're doing all this stuff, and you go to the city museum, which is amazing. But here's the thing. You run into that guy and he decides to buy from you as an exhibitor because he became your friend. And then you have an icebreaker when they walk in the next morning and they're like, "Oh, you had a good time last night," and that you talk about what happened, whatever. Or you're there and you're able to just talk, and then they're like, "What do you do?" And you're like, "Oh, well, we sell, software for, the booking industry," whatever. That stuff goes a long way. And even as a buyer, you're there, you'll meet some exhibitors and you'll meet different people, or you'll get a perspective from one of your peers that they've been through the trials and tribulations and made all the mistakes, and they can, if you're a new haunt owner or a new business owner at all, you should be at all this stuff. You're going to save yourself a ton of mistakes, by learning from these guys. And listen, you got to sift through the BS. There's a lot of people that just like to talk, but you're going to find out that there is some great advice. And these guys, our industry, one thing I love about it is they're very friendly, and they're very inclusive, and they love to share their knowledge. They love to tell you how well they did with something, and that doesn't.
And they're very honest with their failures too.
Yes.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah, you find out.
I'm sorry, Rich, I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm going to just address. So James, you did have a question. Absolutely. We just didn't want to cut anybody off while they were saying it, but this is a popular question that, Rich, I think both you and I can help answer. James brought up, why don't we bring TransWorld to the west of the Mississippi so others on the West Coast can have a chance to go? My explanation for that has always been mostly the vendors, like getting across the mountain ranges and also the travel to that side of things.
And I'll answer that quickly because people
Yeah.
don't understand it. If you don't run trade shows, you don't understand the logistics of doing a trade show, and it isn't just the vendors; it's actually the attendees. If we put it to one coast, this show is designed to be in the Midwest specifically, so that everybody can come to that show and get there from anywhere in the world. They can drive from anywhere in the world, and it makes sense for them. So listen, like if I had $1 for every person that sent me an email saying, can you put it in, in my state and in my city, we have a great convention center. There are very few convention centers in the country that can hold our show with the size of it and the things that we need to do within our show, and the price. You have no idea how expensive it is and how cheap it is to do it in St. Louis for the people that are coming. That's where, we focus on a lot of that stuff, like I don't want a vendor to come in and he's got to drop $30,000 to do the show. And he's like, well, it prices me out. I can't do it. So we have to think of all these things. And it isn't just, hey, people are like, well, we need to be in Vegas or we need to be in Orlando. Yeah, those shows work there. Ours doesn't. We design our show to have everybody be together. And that's why we are in St. Louis, like, listen, not the perfect city for everything. There's pitfalls and things that we wish we could fix everywhere. But ultimately, it's been a great home. And it works. It works to get there.
Well, and the other thing is that you hit kind of on the head is, if you bring it to Vegas, you're not going to find some of the top haunt owners that you want to talk to because they're off doing something else with other people that they already know. Same thing in Orlando. We were all just in Orlando together and we all know where we're going to, but like there was no real networking opportunities or no other things unless you knew people already. I think the best thing about what everybody's created is that this environment that if you're there and somebody's like, oh, we're over at, whatever restaurant, right? Sugar Fire. Everybody's like, oh my God, that's half a block down the way. I'll come and meet you. Like, whatever. Or you can be sitting at a restaurant and this trade show takes over the town that, more than likely there's somebody that's in your industry sitting right next to you, having a drink or eating or whatever, and unless there's a wedding happening, pretty much everybody in the whole hotel is part of
TransWorld.
Exactly. No, and yeah, I mean, the big thing is I think that there's been other shows from the TransWorld umbrella that have happened in other places. And I think that that's the most common denominator is that it's hard to get to in some ways, no matter where you go. But St. Louis has proven to be so much easier. Even Rich, somebody was talking to me about the ceiling heights, like for not only for set builds, but also for the Christmas side of things. St. Louis's convention center, the ceiling height has been like game changing.
Yeah, and I mean, those are all the things we take into account. I mean, there's only like 4 convention centers in the country that are capable of holding the height that we use. So, and our options are very limited, and the cost could be quadruple, to go somewhere else. So we have to consider all those things, you know what I mean? We're not just looking at it from one person's perspective. We have to look at it as an overall industry perspective, and we have to make sure that it works for everyone. And we have to find the best way to make it profitable for everyone. So that's kind of how we do it, and again, like the parties and events and stuff like that, let's talk about the hotels. Like, I mean, if you haven't booked one, you got to you go on our website and you click on the travel button, and there's a lot of hotels that are listed that are right there at the convention center that you can walk across the street, and that saves you money. Like, you can stay outside the block and go out a lot further, but then you need transportation in and out all the time. What's great about this is you could walk the floor for a while, walk across the street, take a break, come back later, and because the show is open for a lot of hours from 10 to 6 every day. It gives you a lot of time to do that. You do seminars, you do things like that. So, get your hotels booked, and the great thing about the hotels is the Marriott is the hotel that is most crowded every year. The cool part about this year is we do have sort of a Christmas theme at the Magnolia this year, and a lot of our Christmas guests are staying there because they kind of wanted to have their own congregation, like of a location where they can all meet up. And those two hotels are right next to each other, like on the same block and right across the street from the convention center. I'm not a big, I like to have a good time, but I'm generally exhausted at the show, so I can't stay out and party till 3, 4 in the morning. And a lot of our guests do at the Marriott. So if you're somebody who wants to have a good time and you want to hang out and you want to talk with people and whatever, that hotel bar is literally crowded till the minute it closes, and then afterwards, like the bar outside, on the front sidewalk. So that's what goes on in the town, and it's our group kind of takes over the city.
Oh, definitely.
True,
There's like
true.
a big shape all around the convention center that it does. It just takes over everything, and it's absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
How
we doing?
I want to give Sean another credit to Sean, because Sean's advice to the group, and it's really what we try to do here. So I'm so excited that gets translated. But he had said, watch TransWorld Live. It's the best prep for me for last year. And that's our job, is to make sure you have all of the information. You can make all of your decisions. Joe, you're ready when you're getting there. You can hit the ground running and make sure you don't miss on anything.
Yeah, and even at the show, I have a lot of people get my cell numbers there. Feel free to call in advance and ask questions. We're very hands-on. You can call myself or Jen, and we always talk to you about anything you need to prepare for or whatever. And when you're at the show, if you need help with something or you don't understand something, feel free to call me or text me. It's we're hands-on. We want you to have a good experience, and that's what it's really about. That's how we built the show.
Now, I know, Nicole, we're going to save the deep dive on all of the events that were just released, but it looks like for anybody that's from the attendee side, you should really try to plan to be there. Everything kicks off Wednesday, February 1st.
That was what I was going to say, Chris. I mean, it's not just because this has become like part of my passion project, but also because I do remember being a young operator back in the day, not knowing anybody, staying at a hotel that was way out of the way, and kind of learning the ropes that way. But also from a standpoint of knowing that there are so many folks that are just coming in that may know so-and-so from this place or so-and-so from that place. Instead, we give you a fantastic dynamic opportunity to find out who people are from across all industries. Everybody that is there at the show, we invite you to come out to the networking night out. This is very important. This happens before the show opens. It is like speed dating, and that's the best way I can say it. But essentially, you get to talk about all different type of topics all in one night. You get to meet all sorts of people. If you are on the Halloween side and you've never gotten to sit down with an intimate conversation with Ellen Hobbs, or sit there and listen to Dwayne Sanburn talk, or even on the Christmas side, I got to talk to Josh Trees last night, and I know that he's going to commit to doing my event. I'm just calling him out right now. But either way, there were so many people that have talked to me since that event and said, I had always thought about Christmas and never really got into it. I just happened to sit down at a table with somebody in between the break, and then I took all Christmas classes. Then I was buying Christmas trees, and then I was on this Christmas tree, and now I'm doing a Christmas event, right? So it's that little sampling. It's that 15 to 20 to 10 minutes that you're like, okay, let me just see where I can increase revenue, or let me just find out exactly from the source what I'm doing wrong, or I've got this really great idea. Let me talk to these people, see if it's something that would be, would actually fly. That is all about what that night is about. We're going to have drinks. You can buy drinks there. There's food there. But the topics are like endless. And when I tell you, when you see me at that event, don't judge me on how I act there. I look frazzled and crazy, but I'm just focused because I've got like 300 people that I'm trying to move all around the room to all these different tables all at the same time. And it ends up coming out and working, which is fantastic. But yeah, so make sure you're getting in for that. Make sure you're booking that, because that almost sold out last year.
Nicole, for the networking night out, could you say that every aspect of the industry is covered there, like from the back end to the front end, to technical stuff, to marketing, to
like we even have tables. Like if you bring your manager and you're like, okay, yes, they can go to some of the seminars, but I don't want them to go to all the seminars, that type of thing. That's fine. Bring them to this event, because there's other managers that are right there talking about certain operational things. You want to talk about booking systems? Listen, there's 100 different ticketing services. Okay, maybe not 100. That's an exaggeration. But where do you spend your time at? How do you know what to do? This event should be part of your show planning, because now not only this is who I want to talk to from the vendor standpoint, but now I want to go to this seminar right here that's going to help me implement that. In addition, I know now where to send my people to, or I was going to go to this one, but now I'm sending my husband to this one, business partner to this one, managers to this one, whatever. And so it's really important. The other side of it is making sure that you're knowing, yes, I should keep doing this, or you know what? It's time to hire somebody. And this person that I just talked to at the show is the person I want to talk to, So it's really set up to be able to give a lifeline and to help be a hub for the show, just like TransWorld Live is, right? It's just expansion based on need in a lot of ways, and be able to make sure people are getting everything that they need out of this fantastic show.
That's it.
That we all wish could be like a month long, but at the same time.
That's exactly.
I mean, that's on Wednesday we do, but on Sunday we're like, oh, thank God, I need to sleep.
Well, this is just the tip of the iceberg, folks. Like, we know we have just passed that 90-minute mark. We're so glad you're staying with us.
Yeah.
Stay with us every Tuesday, all the way through the holidays, all the way up into the show. There is so much to talk about. Literally, we have an agenda for tonight, and we barely touched like this much of it. So we can't wait to be with you next Tuesday. And Rich, thank you for all of the amazing information and all of the wonderful advice.
But say that, Rich, we'll probably have you back on too to get an update on how things are going, any new exciting things, because you're always so transparent with us, which we appreciate. And also with our industry, letting us know what's cool and what's new, and and passing us some people too that we should be talking to, which is always great.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll have some new vendors on and stuff like that, that we brought in, and you can interview and see their new products and stuff that they're going to be introducing at the show.
Awesome.
I can't wait.
Rich, thank you so much. Seriously, we appreciate you, and we know that you have to get back to work because you've still got about 5 more hours of stuff.
If you saw what the table looked like, where this computer's sitting, there are literally contracts everywhere. So
I love it. It's all a good thing.
It's a great thing. But
thanks for having me.
Thanks,
man. Thank you.
Thank
you. All in February.
Yes.
Can't wait.
Yes, very much. Chris, let's quickly talk about what the next couple weeks are going to look like. We're going to do a deep dive into events. We're if you're just tuning in and you're just finding us here, oh no, the show is already talking about boo holes and taking shots. We are getting no, but the big thing to remember about this show is, if it's going to be coming out from TransWorld, if it's going to be new, if it's going to be exciting, we're going to be talking about it
right here.
We're going to be right here. We're going to be giving you behind the scenes looks. We're going to be talking to vendors. You're going to know about some of the latest, greatest, hottest things that are happening in the industry, where it's coming from. I feel like saying the word hands-on, because I did see that was a key word here somewhere.
It is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Roberta, shot time. We've got a lot of love coming in here from just everybody. Guys, we love you guys. You guys are yeah, Chris, go ahead. Sorry.
No, we are your exclusive source, and we're so glad. Like Sean commented, and so many others have given us great feedback, and that's really what drives our passion. And I'm sure it's the exact same for Rich and Jen. Like, our goal is to make sure we can help make you successful and make that show everything that you want it to be. So all of the passion and the late nights and early mornings that Nicole and Rich and Jen and everybody on the entire
team. Chris has been doing it too. He's in the trenches with us now.
And I'm so honored, but it's all for you guys, and to be able to share that with you in this interactive conversation where we can finally break news to you and be excited about telling you great things that are coming up, like the legendary reveal. Like, that is awesome. We were so excited, but it's not real until we get to share it with you and get that feedback.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of that stuff. Yeah, exactly. And then like getting people excited, and like, Tara, you're so sweet. Don't go. Keep talking. Listen, don't challenge us. We will keep going.
It's a marathon. And
if we didn't both have so much work to do to make sure that we're getting it out to you guys before next Tuesday, it would be
But this is our commitment. So to your original question, what can we expect over the next few weeks, over the entire, it is a marathon. We are going to be with you through the holidays because the show is earlier. So we need to get you a lot of information earlier to make sure that you're equipped and ready to go, because it's learning, it's partying, it's networking, it's making yourself better so that you can make a better product.
Yes, and the root of it all, we do this not only for you guys, but for the overall industry. And like, even talking about Christmas and holidays as it's coming up, and I'm, from the other side of things as an operator, watching people's faces and getting all excited. And like, as I see like all the love on the other side, I know how much as an industry it takes to make those magical moments happen and the spooky moments happen in a lot of ways. And it's like, it's going to be, all of this is just amazing. And I cannot wait to be back to our regular schedule and sharing this and talking to people. And like, any general suggestions for a first time owner? Yes. Continue watching this. Set your program, your
reminder timer.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely stay along for the ride. I mean, there's a lot of people that I think have watched us last season too and found out a lot of things, and now are finally joining us this year. And those things apply all the way around. So, yeah, think of this as the proverbial car. I'm gonna say I'm driving because Chris is reading the directions and planning the route, and
we're team.
We are taking this journey to TransWorld, and we are going to tell you all the funny stories along the way. We're going to share with you different people that we talk to. We're going to add along. Sean, you're the best. Thank you. Yeah, and share stories, but also tips, tricks, really great things to make sure that you guys get the most out of your time, not only with us, but at TransWorld.
Yeah. And we're going to give you that exclusive information. So like next week, we're going to cover the events. We're going to talk a deep dive into all of that. And as soon as the seminars are ready, we'll do a deep dive in there. And we'll probably have some exclusive interviews and some previews with some of the presenters and some of the people behind the scenes that are making that magic possible.
Okay, Chris, I'm going to do this, and a lot of people are probably going to hate me. Hey, Siri, set a reminder for Tuesday nights for TransWorld Live.
Love it. For those,
Alexa, no, I'm just kidding.
Now, obviously, the show is recorded, and so you can view it at any time off of all of our social media. But if you want to interact and you want to be a part of the live conversation, and you want that feeling of family and friends that you get while you're there at TransWorld, at MHC, at Legendary, we do this every Tuesday. And we're going straight through the holidays every Tuesday, starting at 7:00 Central. Join us, comment, log in, be a part of this.
And I would love to stay in chat, but you know what's happening right now? My husband's staring at me because we have episode 8 of Wednesday to finish, and I've made him wait all day to finish with me, even though I already watched most of it, but to finish it with me. And and I think that if you have not watched that, shout out to that. We'll break that down next week if anybody's ready to share on that side. We're giving you an assignment. Chris, have you seen it yet?
I have. And we had so much information. We didn't even get to do that stuff.
Oh, I know. We have to do it because like I literally did a huge deep dive on that side that I'm just like, oh my God.
So happy with it. I can't wait to.
You know what? Chris asks if we go to sleep right now, maybe when we wake up, it'll be February. And if not, it'll be one day closer to next Tuesday.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. All right. Chris, I will see you very soon, and all of you guys very soon. I'm so excited.
Can't wait to see all of you. Thank you so much for joining us. And